Welcome, welcome, welcome back to the Education System Reboot channel. Today I wanted to do a short video on this phrase, which is, they didn't teach us that in school. So I want to start with this quote that I found. I don't remember where I heard it. And so again, if it's a common one that people know and know who said it, I would give credit. But it says, stop saying they didn't teach us that in school. Yes, they did. You were talking. And I use that as a joke. I've kind of had that up in my room periodically. And I kind of just try to remind kids that, you know, many times when we say we didn't learn that or whatever, it's really because we weren't paying attention. But I thought I would just take a little time to pontificate about this idea of the education system now, I think, has a tremendous burden on it where we, and I say we as a general society, keep thinking that it's the place where we've got to solve everything. We've got to have an answer for everything. And I'm hoping by the end of this, this video that what's the word I'm looking for? I've supported my claim that really the education system, if done right, I mean, again, there's always issues, but if done right, it really does teach us everything. And so hopefully I can articulate that pretty clearly. But some of the common things that, you know, I've heard from young adults and just, you know, even teachers and just anything when we're trying to, you know, figure out is things like, and they're not limited to this, but things like, you know, they didn't teach us about budgets or how to balance a checkbook or taxes or, resumes or I mean, I don't know. Those are just some of the first ones that come to mind. And if you want to be objectively honest, a lot of times we don't talk about those specific subjects. But the reality is, okay, and this is what I kind of want to talk about, is everything that I just described is based in a process or a system, right? Learning a budget is a system. Balancing a checkbook is a system that you have to adopt. It's an organizational system. It's a mathematical system. Taxes, it's a system, right? Now, all this is to say that basically my argument would be this: the skills underneath all of those things I just mentioned, they are taught inside and out. The dilemma is, I don't think we as a education system do a great job of connecting dots. And so let me give an example. And this personal example, I probably used it in other videos, but I came to this real weird conclusion that everything I've learned in life has been through music, right? It's a system. So I've dedicated my life to the system of music education / performing an instrument. So developing a skill on the French horn, which is what I play. And then as I started realizing, and as I've started growing and kind of creating my system of education in music, like the way I teach, I've learned that it's so transferable to every aspect of my life. So another way of saying it is the act of going through the process of learning an instrument taught me core habits, self-discipline. But because I was only seeing it through the lens of music, I wasn't connecting or thinking broader or seeing how the daily discipline of practicing every day is just like the daily discipline of doing exercise or doing studying or whatever. Like, there's a daily component. There are components and skills and systems and processes and rules. I mean, I'm trying to just think of a lot of words here, but that if you just took that system of my music and then transplanted it into a different subject matter, the underlying principles would be the same. So my argument would be that we actually teach all this stuff, but I think we do a poor job of connecting dots, of kind of getting kids to realize that if we have those underlying success habits, that we are actually teaching them what they need in life, right? Now, just to kind of make it a joke here, I mean, we taught checkbooks. It's called addition and subtraction. So again, not to make light of this, but if you're a young adult and you can't understand how math works to balance a checkbook, then we've got a bigger issue with the education system than I thought. Now, taxes, that's a more difficult one, but it's a process. So here's what I would argue. In the education system, hopefully we taught self-discipline, accountability, organizing your life, breaking things down into steps, right? that's kind of what doing your taxes is like. You've got to do a little research, right? A research paper. If you've done research papers, you've probably learned a valuable skill. The thing is, I just want to be clear. I think this is why this channel, I'm focusing on this channel, is we need to focus more on the big picture systems, the big picture processes, and then continually on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis, create systematic opportunities. And those systematic opportunities are what is going to actually educate our kids to be able to tackle. Because the reality is we can't teach everything that needs to be taught for any human being. We just can't. But we can instill better systems and habits that will actually allow kids to go out of high school and have a higher level of success, a higher chance of success, right? Remember just this important thing, it's like we want all kids to have the opportunity to be successful in life, right? But we can't mandate outcomes, right? And this is the thing that I think sometimes we kind of forget is it is not possible to mandate an outcome. Equality of opportunity, absolutely. Equality of outcome, no, it's impossible. And I think, again, this all kind of goes back to this. It's like we're saying, well, I didn't learn this in school. I didn't learn this. I want this outcome. I want this outcome. Well, did you piece together? Did you develop good habits? There's an opportunity. We all have the opportunity to learn these things. And again, I would argue, just because of the nature of technology these days, is everything curriculum-wise is available to us. If I want to learn about history, I could do it. But if I don't have solid systems underneath, right, I'm going to feel like I can't do it. And again, I think I can conclude with this. I've got my little notes here just to kind of try to stay on track. So this isn't a very long video, but the last thing I wrote is reflecting on the interconnectivity of process and systems. And so again, if I'm being accurate with my assessment, or if I'm being clear in communicating my ideas here, basically what I'm kind of proposing underneath all of this, me pontificating, as they say, is that everything in life can be broken down into a system, right? There's an interconnectivity that if we truly are teaching to the process of education, to the system of education, if we can plant kids into clear systems and then teach them that this system can be applied here, can be applied here, can be applied here, can be transferred here. Here it might need to be modified slightly, but it's a similar process. That's what education is supposed to be about. I mean, because like I said, we cannot teach everything that needs to be taught, but we can teach processes that allow kids to think critically and draw connections and understand that if they do these things here, like good study habits, well, great, those good study habits are going to are transferable. They're connected to life. So again, I think maybe, again, to end here, if we want to improve the education system and we want to kind of argue against this idea, well, they didn't teach us that in school. Yes, they did. Because they taught foundational principles. Now, if you were unfortunate enough to live in a system where they didn't do any of this, then that, yes, okay, they didn't teach you that. But remember, everything I believe in education can be broken down into systems. So we are only going to be as strong as our system, right? I heard this great quote, and again, I've used it in another one, but it's from Atomic Habits. At least that's who I believe James Clear was the one that came up with this. But we do not rise to our goals, we fall to the level of our systems, right? Well, if we're not enjoying the results we're getting in our education system, there is no magic pill. We have to look at the system itself. We have to look at the underlying system that we are teaching and start to ask ourselves a tough question, right? I don't know. Sorry, I want to pause there and just say, I mean, I could go off on a total rabbit hole there, but again, I want to keep it to this idea. They didn't teach us that in school. Yes, they did. You were talking. Yes, they did. You didn't connect the dots. Yes, they did. You didn't take whatever habits you have and transform them or transplant them to other areas of your life, right? We just kept things in those little boxes instead of realizing that education as a whole is all connected. It just comes down to the process that you adopt, your self-discipline and your habits, and the systems you live under. And to tie it all in, again, I said I'd be done, but obviously I get more thoughts. For me, that interconnected system was music. I can literally see how what I learned in music, all the skills I learned to pursue music, I can transplant those to other areas. And then if I transplant them into other areas of my life, I will start, if I'm consistent effort over time equals success, I will start to see fruit in those areas as well, because the system works. Might not go at the speed I want, but the system works. So again, why this idea of education system reboot? Let's reboot the system. Let's get back to a system that clearly works. Yeah, I think that covers all of it. So thank you for listening. And as always, and I've already said it a couple of times, consistent effort over time equals success. Thank you.